Good morning, everyone. I'm Dean Latta, Dean of Academics, and I know most of you, I believe. It is good to see all your faces. I've seen some alum, and so yeah, thank you all for coming. We're here today in recognition of the changes that occurred yesterday. There's a lot going on, and I'm pleased to introduce to you President Connolly, who will speak to these changes and also offer time to field and respond to your questions about them.
Thank you, Marcy. Thank you, everyone, for making time today to get together. Just being sensitive to time, do we have half an hour or officially?
That's what we planned for today, but if, actually, let me see, Marcy, I just wanted to know what immediately follows, because we only have block a half hour, so, and we obviously don't want to interfere with any classes, so.
You had so much longer because you're in a class block anyway.
Okay,
So,
this is a class block, the next class block.
starts at 12:50. Okay, so we'll do our best to be sensitive. Alright, let's maybe give a chance for everyone to get settled, and then we'll start.
Yeah, okay,
Come on in, everyone, let's get settled, please. We got a short timeline and a lot of good topics to talk about amidst this very challenging time.
yeah, I keep I'm well, this is what happens when we start with during this class. We're gonna come in.
Okay, does that seem like that's about everyone, or are there still people outside? Yeah.
Do we need a microphone?
Sure. Okay, can everyone hear me now? Great, thank you. Thank you for getting together. If we can be present in the moment, recognizing the gravity of what happened yesterday, it's important to also recognize that this situation has been in place before my arrival. I inherited this. I knew what I was getting involved in. Tensions are high. There's anger in the halls. And yet the fundamental focus of my actions are directed towards this institution's long-term sustainability and getting us out of the financial crisis that we are in. That being said, there is no easy way to absorb all of that independent of fully recognizing that there is a very real human element that is in play. Yesterday, I had to let go. I made the decision to lay off 29 people. This impacted us institution-wide. It was unavoidable. This financial crisis needs to be fixed in order for us to sustain providing very meaningful outcomes for every student in this room. That is my job, along with doing that in an affordable way for every single student here. The only way that I can do that is through the knowledge that we have a foundation that is financially sustainable. Those three things: outcomes for every student here, providing that in an affordable manner for every single student here, built on top of a solid financial, sustainable institution. That's it. That being said, there is a very real emotional component to all of this. This equates to people. That's the human condition. I sat in the room with Joe and unfortunately had to have some phone calls with people that we could not have this discussion with in person. That's regrettable that it was not able to be had in person. It was unavoidable. There was nothing oriented around this decision outside of the exclusive commitment to our financial sustainability. I want to make that very clear. In those conversations, no matter how many times you say that, it is not recognized. It could be a teary-eyed moment. There could be a complete, the emotions could go completely the other direction with a complete recognition, and in fact it did, of the situation that we're in, and ending with smiles and handshakes. Imagine that. You laugh.
How is this relevant? Get to the point. Like, this doesn't matter.
I'm sorry?
This does not matter.
Why?
You're just talking. Get to the point.
So, I don't.
I
Okay.
don't care, obviously.
So, I don't know you. This is the first time that I'm in front of all of you. I do not think this is funny. Get to the point. This is the point. This institution has been here before any of us were born. This institution will be here for another 150 years. A lot of doubters in the room. Okay. Okay. 100% of you attend this institution.
60%
Just for athletics. Okay. Okay. Is that? So I'm getting a lot of.
You will lose 60% of your student body based on this decision. I hope it fixes this deficit that you're talking about. I don't understand how the math works because it doesn't make sense. Nobody can make sense of what you're doing. You knew in December, whenever you joined, what you were going to do, and you waited till the last minute to do it. And now I'm taking classes that won't transfer to other schools because I'm doing a senior capstone class, and you didn't let me have the time to make that decision. And now I'm screwed. I'm going to be 2 or 3 classes behind because you waited to act on your decision that you knew you were going to make the second you came in.
Okay. So I'm sorry. Okay, so it seems like we're jumping right to the Q&A. So, did you read the letter?
Yeah.
Okay. What did you think of the letter? I'm sorry, that was what? Can you use respectful terms?
What does the letter have to do with this?
Can we agree on being respectful to each other?
How is that disrespectful?
I heard curse words being used where
Okay, well, I'm sorry if someone cursed. I'll say that on behalf of the student body. I'm sorry if someone said that to you. But the question remains.
Okay, no, I'm listening. I'm sorry. I do want to hear.
I mean, she has a valid point. I found out in the middle of the match over Twitter. Twitter of all places.
Right. Okay. Well, this is the very
And then
human
when someone
component.
calls to try and verify information, no one's on the phone. How are we getting accurate information on what's going on?
Right now, this is accurate, very real human connections that we have. What? Right? I mean, what I was just saying, you said get to the point. The point is that yesterday's decision was embraced very thoughtfully since my arrival on November 1st, with a lot of deliberation through an entire process leading up to the decision. In fact, the first question that I had upon my arrival was, are you going to kill D3 athletics? I answered that very publicly and openly and honestly and conducted my interactions under the same regard that no decision was made until the decision was made.
It was very last minute though. What are the people who play fall sport gonna do? It's so late.
A large part of my
It's
candidacy,
unfair to us.
I'm sorry?
It's unfair to us. It's so late to transfer now. It is so late in the process to transfer. Especially for the people that are gonna be
Yeah.
seniors next year. I didn't know I played my last game. Thank you. Thank you for not letting
This,
me know.
this is unfair. This situation is unfair.
How are you?
I had to let go of 29 people yesterday. That is unfair. Can you absorb that for a moment? Everybody collectively? This is not directed at any one individual. If we think in terms of fundamentally what we did yesterday, we committed to this institution's long-term health by taking immediate action within financial guardrails that we must operate within. In other words, let me just, if we did not make that decision, checks would bounce this time next year.
They're gonna bounce whenever 62% of your student body leaves.
So you read the letter, right?
Yeah, I read the
Okay.
letter. Where's the-
So what did you think of how a benchmark, a report on NCAA
You
Division
used
III,
stats from institutions that were way bigger than this one, that are irrelevant from what our school, we have 400 students, if that. You're using facts from like universities like Delval where they
we have less than half about what you just said. We have just over 200 students.
It's even worse.
Okay, and this is funny. I am here authentically giving you every degree of detail that went into, I'm here to walk through the entire process. I'm here to walk through the letter. I'm here to, I'm sorry?
He said surprised you didn't have somebody say it for you. You can't send out the letter per your own email. You have somebody else send it out for you.
Through an email, nonetheless. It wasn't even in person.
I'll ask you, where would you like today's conversation to go?
Am I supposed to still pay for the classes that I know won't transfer, but I can't withdraw from? Because it's too late to withdraw by like a week. If you would have made this decision a week ago, I could have withdrawn from some classes, added different classes, but now it's too late because it'll go in my transfer.
So I understand, it may appear like we made this decision after a drop add period.
You did.
Intentionally. There was,
So am I supposed to still pay for those classes or what? It's a yes or no answer.
we did not intentionally make this
It
decision.
doesn't matter if it's intentional or not.
What I'm saying is, we did not intentionally make a decision to put you in a situation where you would not be able to drop her
But
out.
you did as a result of this decision, so what am I supposed to do? It's an answer. Just stop going around things. Just answer the question.
What
Am
are
I
you-
supposed to still pay for the class?
We have a student first committee that,
Who is on the board of this?
I'm sorry?
Who is on the board?
Also, nobody reached out to us then.
Yeah.
You said yesterday
If we
that
had
they were
known,
supposed to reach out
and
to us
for
individually.
so long that our college was in this state, and one of the decisions would have been to cut sports. The student body should have been told. I wholeheartedly believe 100% of the student body would have done something to try and make sports survive. Whether that be donating, fundraising, whatever.
I have a
Sports is
question.
an integral part of this college. Student government wasn't notified. Student government should have been notified.
Okay. I understand there is a lot of anger, and when you said that, get to the point. My point is to recognize that there is a lot of tension. This decision was not taken lightly. It is critical that this institution survive to be able to provide the best outcomes for every student in the most affordable fashion for every student, and on a foundation that is financially sustainable. I understand, and I am completely committed to having an appropriate discussion. In other words, not having a yelling match here around all of these topics. Today is the first open forum,
Do you want to
and
pay for these classes or not? Like, are you gonna do something for the students to not have to pay for classes that they know won't transfer, but now it's too late to withdraw from?
Can you
That's
let him
the-
finish?
He hasn't answered the question he's been
You're
taking.
not letting him answer.
You just.
there's a lot going on. Okay, so there's a lot of very detailed tactical questions right now, right? As far as immediate decisions that you'd like to make with the best information possible. So, the way I'd like to handle those questions is field all of those questions through Amy. And we also have a student first committee
Never see Amy in my life.
where there is an opportunity, right, following this session as well,
Are you the president?
where there's an opportunity for us to have an open, yes. I did just answer the question. You're asking me to answer a question around individual details of every single student here. I am not.
Sorry. Is that okay? Okay, sorry. Thank you.
I did answer the question. The answer is I would like to field all of those questions.
You would like to
I would like to have all those questions fielded through Amy. And we also have the opportunity, which I believe these sessions are scheduled right now, for a student first opportunity to have interactions with the Student First Task Force, the Student First Committee. And that email went out immediately following my email yesterday, outlining the opportunity for you to have conversations, to show up at scheduled times, to think through these things. So that is a very direct answer. If we pause there for a moment, please, it's very hard to answer everyone's question when everybody is directing the questions to me at the same time. Right now, the chatter, which I completely understand.
Nobody's talking,
Yes.
bro. Answer
I
one
did.
question,
I
man.
have.
You're getting me tight. I'm about to
Direct the
crash,
questions
bro.
to Amy as well as the student First Committee. Please.
Nah, man. Nigga, we've been doing this since we've been doing this for 300 years.
Can we calm down for a moment, please? There's a lot of questions. We only have a few minutes left. Please,
A few minutes left.
for today.
What do you mean you're leaving?
And I'm happy to make myself available outside of this as well. What I'm requesting is that tensions be aired appropriately, and that we take an orderly opportunity to engage in conversation today. So if one person could field questions, I'm happy to go down this path. I am also happy to continue the review of the points that I had identified. And I'm drawn to, because I'm not sure that everybody has, in order for us to get out of this, we all need to understand where we are right now. We're coming out of a financial crisis. We made a decision to get out of that crisis. That decision has a very real human impact that we are dealing with today. And I am very willing and committed to every student's outcome.
How are you so committed if you haven't come to any event? I've never seen a person who has come to basketball games wearing the other team's colors, ignoring students. How well do you know your students?
I went to 5 basketball games. I
And you
sat
ignore
in
every single student who thinks that you try
Look, please, I am happy to be here and have conversations. If you interact with me with respect, please, I'm asking that you do that.
I'm here for
And
you, girl.
If you want this to be an opportunity where you laugh or yell at the president who's on stage here, committing to this institution's future, that is your choice. That is not why I'm here.
You understand your commitment. It's the lack of seeing the community for what it is. When's the last time you came to a Bryn Athyn event and talked to your people? This is your college.
Absolutely. This
This is people that love the place for what it is. We are with you. You are standing against us.
I agree, and I'm here to explain the logic and the reasoning
And how
of the
are these
decision
club
that we
sports
made.
going to work?
I'm sorry?
How are these club sports going to work? If the college cannot even afford to do hockey as a club, which is already a club, how are you funding it more?
You're gonna have 20 people here next year.
So let's pause on that. Let's pause on that for one moment. This is a very real question.
That's real though.
How will club sports work? Right? How did we even get here? Okay.
Are you funding
Please.
or losing funding?
Can we calm down? I'd like the opportunity to.
People find out about what happens in sports. I hate to break it to you.
Okay. Can I handle this one question, please? Before we can even think about how club sports can work, let's recognize the financial distress that we're in right now relating to our current athletic offerings. That's what I'm pausing on. If we think about the size of the institution and the budget that we ought to have in place to support our current offerings, it's over $60 million. Our budget right now is 13. We are playing on fields that we can't afford to play at, and yet we have some of the most successful outcomes in our basketball team, right? This is unfair. This situation is unfair. What's unfair about it is that we have an unsustainable plan that is financially not sustainable to move forward with. We have 65% of our students here who are enrolled in some degree of an athletic offering. We have 100% of our students here who are committed to this institution's educational offering. That's why we're here. That's why this institution exists.
That's the problem.
So when we think about what we have to do to get out of this, we need to focus on the financial sustainability.
So how are you going to do that as our president right now? Like, what
The
steps
first
to
step,
get to it?
the
Like,
two steps that I made.
Okay,
After I arrived on November 1st,
okay.
I put in place $500,000 worth of institutional adjustments so that we could stay within our guardrails, our financial guardrails.
I don't think I ever
That's number one.
heard of that as a student.
Likely not, and for that I apologize. If you look at my tenure here, this is the first opportunity that I've had to be in front of everybody here.
Which is,
It's the first time I've been in front of everybody since November 1st,
so wait,
right? Correct. You asked for how we're doing that. The first step was the $500,000 that I cut out with the core cabinet's advice of our budget, avoiding any personnel cuts.
okay.
The
so
second step is what we performed yesterday.
Okay.
Implementing over $2.2 million worth of institutional adjustments, including the very real laying off of people.
So is there going to be
29
more?
people, 20 FTEs.
Is there going to be more though? Because there's rumors going around that
Right.
majors are being cut
Right.
because there's no.
No majors are being cut.
So how do we?
So
press
in my
that?
letter, I made it clear that there was no adjustment to instructional labor.
Yeah,
right?
but like our sports just got cut. Like the reason a
Correct.
lot of us came here.
Right, so the rumor is,
has gone.
this guy's insane, he just cut athletics, when there are 65% of our students who are participating in athletics, right? This is how you guys are looking at me, correct? Why would I cut athletics? The justification is in the letter. If you've read it, I ask you to read it again, please. Because 3% of our budget is what we can afford to invest in an athletic program sustainably. That's it. That's the reality. You are correct. Correct. What I'm saying is you're absolutely correct. What I'm saying is by the benchmark, 3% of our operating budget that's a great question. This question is fantastic. Are other institutions larger than us who offer Division III offerings? Fundamentally, yes. We've been striving institutionally. Hey guys, a little respect, please.
But then they switching it to like, I don't know. So like, that's great. That's
If you would rather, honestly, if you would rather talk amongst yourselves, I ask that you leave this forum, do that. If you would like to engage cordially in a conversation, I ask that you stay. And I hope that you would stay. Okay, let me answer this one question. So you asked a question, thank you. Are other institutions larger than us, right? Was that benchmark study larger than us for institutions who have NCAA Division III offerings? Fundamentally, yes, they are. That is one of the assumptions that has not been addressed openly in this way, moving historically up until now. When we look at what it takes to operate at scale, to have a real, true, supported, scalable Division III offering, it operates with much larger budgets than we have, with much larger enrollments than we have. One positive thing that we can really look at that is how is it even remotely possible that we attracted the best of the best in the athletes that we have with the best outcomes on the court while we're in fundamentally some of the lowest enrollment ranges, right, with the lowest student body. It's because everybody's passion here delivers on the court, on the field, shows up in ways that is magical. Absolutely. And financially, what I'm saying is, financially, it is unfair that we do not have an opportunity to continue to support these programs that cost what they do. It's just the reality. That is unfair. So I'm sorry, I don't know your name in the background. You gave some of the early questions saying, get to the point. This is the point, that we are operating in an unsustainable way. And I am here to have a conversation around how we are shifting to that sustainability. So in fact, one element is just recognizing our overinvestment as a percentage of our operating budget is astronomical when we think about how much we are directing towards a very positive, energized Division III offering. I'd like to take a question over here, and I'm not sure who. Melody.
As a staff member, I want to acknowledge that I have problems with that cutting of D3 sports myself. And at the same time, this has been a bigger cut than that. That is not all 29 cuts that NBC said. I'm wondering if or when you will be announcing all the other staffing cuts that were made.
Right, so that is today. So the foundation is that 29 people were let go, 20 FTEs. This is astronomical. It is across the three categories of all of our athletics, the complete outsourcing of IT, and every other element of restructuring that we can do across our institutions. So it is in fact those three areas. That is the commitment that we made, and that adjustment afforded us over $2.2 million in savings. So my commitment is to ensure that this institution gets back to a financial sustainable foundation.
I know what areas were cut. I want to know what people were cut.
Say the names of the people who were
So I'd like this session to not be about individual names of people on the screen. I'd like to pause and give the honor and recognition to them.
You told me that she had to leave an hour after you fired her. You want to recognize her? But you
There is.
I love this school. You're gonna take this out? Where's the culture? There's gonna be no culture.
the most honorable way that you can deal with a terrible situation is to do it as much as you can, once entirely and completely. And do not put that individual in the position where they have to maintain any level of involvement in the institution. It may sound
We're talking in circles here.
it may sound wrong.
We're talking in circles.
Fundamentally, I'm sorry.
No, I haven't 2 minutes to
Everybody here, all didn't like her. She was the reason why we all stayed. She was like, oh, we're here for support. She talked to us. She stood up for us when people were
It's unfair. I understand. It's unfair. It feels awful. I think. I had to make the decision of who to let go. Because we have over $3.4 million in a true deficit. There is no world where any of this sounds fair. There isn't.
I
This
get that
isn't.
you keep agreeing with us, and like I don't know. I've counted a lot of times, like in this, like right here, where you said things are not fair. We've already like stated that it's not. But what are you like what are we doing? You clearly we don't have enough money. So like our sports, are you basically saying sports aren't going to be back for a while? Like because we don't have money. You're saying. I understand you cut people. And it seems as if for this to even like be manageable, you need to cut more people. It seems that more and more people are going to be cut, and that's why there's rumors that majors are going to be cut. And it doesn't seem like you have an answer.
Okay.
I haven't
I'm
heard
being
an
honest
answer.
with you. My intent is to avoid 100% any future cuts.
I understand that. That would be awesome, but there's already been so much stuff you've already like done that has affected all of us.
Right.
Like a lot of people in this room.
I completely understand, and that is the important stuff. So that I was starting with that
So let's
recognition.
like get to that because
Right.
you're saying that you're not going to be here for like I don't know what your schedule
I'm
is.
happy to extend my time to be with you today. What I'm sensitive to is that I know people need to be somewhere else after this
I
meeting.
don't personally right now, and I'm sure a lot of people.
Okay, so I heard the second part to your question, which is
I want to know
and-
like what's happening, like
Right.
what's going to happen from this point forward. Do
Right.
I need to go to a different college? Am I going to be able to graduate here? With the point of where some seniors don't
we
know
are committed
their
to keeping this
credits.
institution open. I am
Okay.
committed to continue to offer every
So-
single degree that we have. The
So-
cuts that I announced yesterday were deep and wide and very hurtful and very emotional. And when I said there's anger in the halls, there's anger in this room. Please do direct it towards me. This is my decision.
You keep saying cuts. What are you doing to improve the college? What is the marketing?
The
What
cut is the improvement to the college.
That's it?
But there's going to be
No,
more.
that's
How are
not
we
it.
getting more students to want to come here? If we're cutting sports, did we cut art too? What's next?
But like, there's not going to be more money coming in.
No, it's
There
just
is
gonna
a
be religion.
very generative world looking forward to the next steps. When we think about what fundamentally was done was an atrocious decision. Dealing with a financial crisis by letting people go is not easy.
And that's
I
still
have
a
done it
cut. Where are the
before.
increases? Where are we doing good?
Every increase that we have needs to have a source of revenue.
But it seems like it's going
Where is
to
the
be
revenue?
years. Like,
I'm sorry?
It seems like I'm going to be long gone and out of college by the time
No,
this gets
there is, and I started with this, I'll say it again, and it is very hard to absorb any information during a crisis. I am 100% committed to the most positive outcome to every student in this room. So how am I doing that? Right now,
Between your commitment, how do we know you're definitely going to keep the programs and you're 100% going to keep our instructors to keep these programs?
Yeah.
I'm going to be a senior. I already took my capstone. How am I going to know that I'm going to have to transfer?
Right.
I'm going to have to take all my classes again.
Right.
Am I going to be able to stay here and finish?
Thank you for asking the question. And your name?
Mine is Alexa.
Alexis,
We
thank
don't
you.
ask anyone else.
So, well, because I'm just great.
He doesn't know. That's a good point.
You don't care about the transition we had to go through.
Yeah, you don't know.
I very much do care. I am saddened to say that this is the first opportunity that I've had in front of everybody since I've been here. I am saddened. Can I answer that question first? Okay. So what I heard you ask me is how do you know if the degree that you're pursuing will be here? Correct? You need to trust me that it will. I am not right. The only way that how can I convince you otherwise? Right? Right. Okay, so the other question I had here is how do we know what other cuts are coming? Right? My commitment is to avoid any other cuts to personnel to the best that I can. I'm being 100% transparent.
How are you doing this? Is what we are asking. Are you getting more enrollment? Are you marketing differently? Are there other strategies you have that's going to increase the Bryn Athyn population at the college?
Right.
You're not. It's not
So
about that. In the past few months, every single decision you have made has not had good benefits to our students. We are a small campus.
Yeah.
We don't have much to offer.
Yeah. So this embraces a very foundational component of my candidacy and my presidency. So as I was in the interview process, I made it 100% clear that I am focused on trust building. The only way I can build trust is judge me on what I say I'm going to do and do I do it. Right? We can only move at the speed of trust. Let me finish, please. The second is that I am making right-sizing adjustments to get this institution back on track. The third is that you okay? It's a good bug. The third is that I am reimagining our offering. So in fact, the question that you're asking is what are we actually doing? What new programs are we putting in place?
What is it?
I am doing all three of these things at the same time. I was told I was insane to do it. We don't have time to delay. Let me explain. The trust building, I am here in front of you 100% authentically, telling you the status of where we are. The only way we can establish trust is for you to hold me accountable to what I say I'm going to do. As far as the right sizing, I explained to you what right sizing implementation I went through with the team, right? Very clear. As far as the reimagining, the first component of that, on day 84 of my arrival, after my arrival, we launched the Ethical Foundations Honors Program. As the first,
I've never heard of that.
this offering is being rolled out next year. This is the first foundation to the linchpin, one component of the linchpin of our strategic plan.
Okay. So what does this do? What is the benefit of that to your students?
To my students?
Yes.
Yeah,
To
the
your
benefit is
students.
that
Your students.
correct. The benefit is that it highlights our true distinctive offering.
Of what?
Okay, so on the Ethical Foundations Honors Program side, there are three primary pillars.
Yes.
We're calling this campaign Choices Matter. This highlights that every single choices matter, that every single component of the way you conduct your life engages the discovery of yourself, how you
How are
interact
you
with other
discovering
people.
yourself if you're cutting sports?
Okay. What I'd like to do is really have a generative conversation around the offerings going forward in the future. I feel like there's a lot of tension and stress around the decisions that were made yesterday. I'd like to make sure that we spend the brunt of this time answering all the questions I can possibly answer. So perhaps maybe we could go through a way of identifying. I want to make sure. Okay, let's go with you. I know you've had your hand up for the longest time. What I'd like is some participation that we can identify an orderly process where the next 3 or 5 or 10 people. Okay. Can you introduce yourself by name, please? I'm sorry I didn't do that earlier.
Two things I want to say. First off, I'm going to introduce myself. I'm Christopher Rigatino. I'm a brand new student here. I came here to play soccer. So firstly, how do you feel about standing in front of a group of business majors and psychology majors and sitting there knowing that they all play sports at your school and you're not going to say one word to them about you're about to cut our whole program? You said you know about this in November.
No.
I didn't. You said you came into this.
I came in on November 1st knowing that I would need to get this institution on a financially sustainable track. Nothing of my decisions have been made before. Sure. Everything is a possibility. I made that clear too. Let's go through, let's have him finish his question, please.
Alright, so secondly, I have something that somebody else wanted to say, but I'm going to say it. So it says, What I hear is you saying the same sentence put various ways. You have not directly answered anyone's questions here, besides the lady up in the front with
Alexis.
a great question. And then it says, it is my understanding as I am sure it is of my fellow classmates that you are dodging the actual questions and too arrogant to emphasize with what is being lost. My question is, do you really want to teach new church education to just new church kids?
Thank you for the question. Can I start with the last component first? Okay. I wish I knew everyone in this room personally. I don't. I wish I knew your names personally. That is the I am drawn to that, and my apologies for not having that relationship in place right now. You asked the question, do I want to only teach a new church offering to only new church members? No. I want everyone who wants to lean into a true understanding of our distinctive offering to have every opportunity to be here. There's an analogy that I use, and there may be a better one out there. With high walls and open gates, we draw 100% clarity to what we offer. And by that I mean, we market ourselves to the world, what our offering is, and we protect the precious nature of that offering and invite everybody to discover it. For me, and maybe some of you know, I had the opportunity, well, maybe some of you know me, is really what I'm saying. But a brief story of me is, I was not born into this church. I am first gen to the church. I'm first gen college. I'm the first president of this institution who has a bachelor degree from this institution. There's a lot of firsts in that. What I am saying is I recognize 100% everybody's possible connection to our distinctive offering. In fact, my freshman year in high school, I spent at Archbishop Bryan. My elementary school, I was at St. Albert the Great. I had no idea that I would discover the church. I did. It's very authentic for me. That's why I'm here, because I have the calling. So I want to offer that to everybody who wants to lean into it. 100%. So I recognize that's a rumor. He doesn't want us here, is what I've heard, right? That is 100% not true. I want everybody here.
But can't you recognize the diversity within the sports and how much we've put on a spotlight at this school? Like, that's a big, big part of your student population,
Right.
especially sitting in this room right now.
The question was, don't I recognize the diversity? What I recognize is everybody here is here for a very authentic reason. So everybody's here for sports. Okay. I'm sorry? Okay. What I do recognize is that a lot of people here are here for athletics. What I do recognize is, and I'm asking you, did you see the logic in the letter showing that we are in a financial crisis? We need to make decisions to get out of the financial crisis. That decision that I made was to cut all of our athletic offerings because of the degree to which we are over-investing at an operational level in contrast to other institutions. It's an unfortunate fact. It hurts. It's very real. And it's unavoidable. We need to deal with it. That is the only course forward. And it is only one component of the cuts that we made.
Yeah, you also cut IT and you also cut several other positions outlined in the letter. We know, we read it.
Okay?
Next question.
So I do want to be sensitive to time, and I'm happy to continue the conversation.
We have another question over here. She's been waiting.
Yeah, she has been waiting.
2 minutes. Okay.
We're wasting time.
So,
She has been waiting the whole time. Answer her question.
Here, go to her. She's had her hand up.
thank you. Yes.
It's not more of a question, it's, you just said that you want us here, but I think I can speak for all of us right now that people that are in the church community have probably said the same thing to us, being like, I don't understand why you're upset. This is for the betterment of the college, and we get that, but it's the lack of empathy that hurts us. There's no
I'm sorry that there was a lot of confusion. There was an adherence of academic. I would never wish on anyone to be in the position of laying anyone off. It is terrible. And I feel the very real impact that makes at the employee level and at the student level. If it was avoidable, I would have avoided it 100%.
I have a follow-up to my earlier statement.
So we are at time. These sessions will continue.
I have a follow-up to the question you asked earlier.
What we did extend the time, and we will continue this conversation.
So
when is the next session?
Towards that, Bryn, Athyn, how would you feel? How would your daughter feel if you took sports away from her after Athyn? How she plays? How do you think your daughter would be affected?
Let's continue this conversation tomorrow, okay? So 12 o'clock tomorrow, please. 11:05. I'm sorry.
Sorry, no, you're fine. I didn't know if you guys.